Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 326 of the Mike from Maine show, the place where we do daily interviews with successful online entrepreneurs. This is your host, Mike Thomas, and today on the show, we've got my good friend Bill Guthrie on, and we're going to be talking about how he and his partner, Will Haimerl, are building out Facebook pages that actually make money, and they never even pay for likes. Now, they were able to make $40,995.12 in revenue in January, and also no like campaigns. A lot of people out there are building out all these pages and spending money on likes and building up an audience, and then finding out that they can't monetize that audience, that there's really nothing that they can sell to them. So it's like you're in a stadium of people, you're trying to sell something, but no one brought their wallet. It's really that type of a situation. Also, Bill's going to be launching his course where he goes all over this tomorrow on Tuesday, February 18th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, I'll say that is going to be starting at around $7 and going up to $10. It's going to be on a dime sale. So for the first 48 hours, that price is going to go up with every sale up to $10. Then it's going to even start going up even higher. So they're putting in a lot of scarcity in here and really making it so that if you're going to get in, the best time to get in is earlier rather than later. Let's get into it. Here's Bill Guthrie. We are here today with Bill Guthrie. Bill, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Mike. Always good to be here.
Always good to have you here. We're not going to make you go through your whole story today. We've had you on the show before. But for people out there that maybe haven't heard of you, can you just give us a quick idea of who you are and what you do?
Yeah. I've been working in some form of sales, marketing, direct response, lead generation, for over 20 years, and I've been successfully supporting myself and my family full-time for the last 3 years.
And for those of you that had the opportunity to go through it, I put out a product called Product Launch Confessions last summer, and Bill was also part of that as an example of someone that has been actively and successfully launching products over and over again and providing a lot of value. So I can definitely vouch for Bill in that perspective. Bill, today we're going to be talking about Facebook, and you are putting out a product called FB Classroom. Let's jump into it and not beat around the bush. What is this all going to be about?
Yeah, I think it's important when we think about something like Facebook to realize that it is, if you decide to be a Facebook marketer, you are agreeing to a long path of education, and you've got to be ready for things to change, because they are going to change. Facebook is going to constantly change the way that things look inside of Facebook, the kind of content that they're giving to people or letting them see, the way that the ads manager works. So even our interface as marketers inside of Facebook is constantly changing. Some of the strategies change, some of the different tactics that we have to use, they evolve. And if you are cool with that, you can continuously make a lot of money, because every time a change happens, there's opportunity there. I've been teaching Facebook marketing for only about a year, and it really came out of something where I really wanted to learn a lot more about it. So as I learn, I start to teach, and I think for any kind of fledgling product creators out there, I'm constantly talking to people as, hey, I hope you buy my stuff, but also I want you to be smarter about your own stuff. If you learn something with the idea that you're going to teach it, you will learn better. Like, it's been proven that if I tell you, you've got to read this book and then you're going to teach the class what you read, you will literally learn differently, and you will stuff will be richer in your experience. And that's how I go about stuff. So when I set about learning things, I tend to learn them better than a lot of other people, because I know that I'm going to turn around and teach it. So anyway, and I did that for about a year and had a lot of success my students were having a tremendous amount of success. There was a challenge, though, that we were always kind of hitting up against, and I think it is a very real challenge for people, which is, well, this is great. You taught me how to make pages, right? You taught me how to go out there and think of an idea and to make the content and to put the content in the page. You even told me how to find an audience for really cheap, you know, and I was able to teach students how to bring in, you know, 1,000 likes for $5, right? And I mean, just having great success. And so everyone was thrilled, but there was always the challenge of, well, how do I make more money at this? You know, like, how do I make money? You know, I'm making some or a little bit, or some people were making none, but how do I really do that? And it was a conundrum, right? Because that's what we're all doing this for. I'm not doing it because I love cats and I got to have my Facebook page about cats. I want to bring in cat lovers and then get them to spend money in some fashion so that I can pay my rent, you know? And that was a challenge. And I think that where we're at today and why I'm so excited about this launch is that there's a process that we've put together. When I say we, I mean my partner, Will Haimerl. We've put this thing together in a way that is very, very different. And I'm going to push pause and let you ask a question. And then
when you say it's very, very different, I think the logical question would be, why is it so different?
Right. So this thing, and he's obviously not on our call, but he's very much a part of this product and this training. And Will comes from a world of CPA marketing and guys, so, you know, which is cost per action. Those guys are ninjas. Like, they literally have certain skills to get people to do things that you normally wouldn't, you know, they normally wouldn't do. I mean, nothing obscene, obviously, but I mean, to convince someone, hey, this, you know, you really do need to put your email on this thing right here. You really do need to do this thing over here. You really should do this. You know, this is, you got to take action now. Well, it's a special connection that you have. So, and by the way, we're not going to be doing CPA marketing. This is not about CPA marketing on Facebook. You know, I mean, in some ways that's terrific, but that's even a different thing. What Will figured out was how to build pages and only build pages that were going to make money. And it's really, really cool. So you might say, well, what does that even mean? You know, like to build a page or whatever. I think
that's the look I'm giving you right now. It's like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I know. So what we're able to do is, using particular strategies inside of Facebook that are totally legal, we're able to run what we call money campaigns. So we're going to create money generating campaigns first. We're going to see which ones are successful. And only then are we going to turn around and build pages. So that every page that we build, it's already been tested that there's an audience there that will actively spend money on it.
Can you give us some examples?
I cannot give you any particular examples.
Why not?
There are examples, but I mean, and I don't mean to be coy. Will is incredibly paranoid about showing like actual pages. Like, he's more paranoid than I am. I'm not really that. I'm like, well, whatever, you can get, you know. But he is very concerned. We show a lot of the stuff that's going on, and there are going to be case studies where we do show as much as possible. But a lot of the stuff that's going on there, it's completely, I mean, they're still live. Like, these are live campaigns that are making a lot of money every day. And so he's overly, I mean, not say overly concerned. There's a lot, let's just put it this way. There's a lot of stuff on images that's very blurred out because he's not going to let you see the pictures, and he's not going to let you see where those links are going. But I will say this, it makes a tremendous amount of sense, because what we're able to do is we can test a ton of different ideas that are out there. So let's say that you said, I like the knitting niche.
I do love the knitting niche.
Mike, you always struck me as someone who might like that. Well, that's terrific. So the normal person would say, okay, well, let's go build a page about knitting. Let's go find a bunch of content about knitting. Let's pour it all in there. Now let's run a like campaign, right? And see if we can find some people who also like knitting. Let's ask them if they like knitting. And if yes, they'll click our like button. They'll become a fan of the page. Then we'll pour in all this content. And we just hope and hope and hope that at some point we put some kind of offer in front of them and they'll pay attention to it and they'll do something that will make us money.
Is that the normal way that people are doing
Yes.
things out there? Is they're going
Yes.
out and they're building they're building a business. Let's say if you want to call it a business, they're building that platform, but before knowing if it's going to be financially viable or not.
Yeah. Yes. And listen, I mean, I'm guilty of it. You know, that's what I did. I did that all throughout the year. And again, a lot of my frustration bore out of, you know, geez, this isn't, I mean, like I'm doing all this stuff. Like I've got 80,000 fans on this page now, but every time I put an offer in front of them, they're not interested. Look, that sucks, you know? I mean, what can I get them to do? How do I even recuperate the money that I spent to get all those fans over here, right?
You thought you were building an asset, and that asset isn't actually an asset at all. It's actually just sitting there doing nothing. Yeah,
I mean, and it becomes laborious, right? I mean, you have to feed that thing every single day, and you know, and so that's really frustrating. Whereas so let's go back to knitting. If I was to say, if you said, Bill, let's do a page about knitting, and I would say, do we know if the knitting community on Facebook will spend money? Are they engaged with anything? Well, you would say, well, I don't know. Well, what we're going to show you is how to find out. And what you do, very simply, is that you run an ad at them and you make an offer to them. Like, I don't know if you're going to buy from me until I make an offer. So where we're coming at, and this experience we have, by the way, Will netted over nearly $20,000 last month doing this. Like, this is profit. So he had expenses. He had revenue, but his profit, like the money he was able to pull back into like his PayPal account, was nearly $20,000. So it absolutely works. But what we're able to do is to say, well, let's test and see. Let's see if this knitting community, this audience that we can identify and target on Facebook, let's see if they will buy something. And if they will, and if we can create a profit, and it looks like we can create a campaign that we could then run at a bigger audience, a bigger knitting audience, now we've got a winner. But what if we ran that and spent 20 bucks on a test and nothing happened? Well, then I would say, well, how passionate are you about knitting? Because there might be something else that's out there. Do you see what I'm saying? And that $20 has saved us. It could save us hundreds of dollars in buying likes, getting your VA to load up the content, you know, I mean, like all that effort. And so to me, you know, there's a double benefit here. There's a benefit of, let's find winning campaigns and make money right now. Let's find the losing campaigns and get them the hell out of the way. And let's save ourselves a tremendous amount of time by not building these pages that are never going to successfully generate income down the path.
It almost... Sorry to interrupt you. It reminds me of, and I think I'll probably get corrected, but Tim Ferriss had been saying when he had a product idea, what he would do is, and I think a lot of people do this as well, is he'll go on Google AdWords, run an ad campaign, get your keyword or whatever you want, instead of spending months and months and months and maybe years trying to do SEO and get that to rank at the top and then see what happens. Buy those clicks for a little while, see what kind of results you get from those clicks, whether it's a product that you're selling or whether it's a keyword that you're aiming to rank for, seeing what those results are before you put in all that effort to create something and to try to rank for a term. It's very similar to doing that.
Yeah.
You're going to cut your failure time, I don't know, in half, or you're going to cut it way down just because you're not wasting all your time just doing something that's not going to have value.
No, and I know exactly what you're talking about from Tim Ferriss, and I mean I hadn't really exactly thought about that, Mike, but you're absolutely right. I mean, and that's a tremendous part of it, you know. Um, it's really cool, you know, because you can definitely, and think about it. If you only have a certain amount of time every day that you can, you know, that you can give to this kind of work, and maybe you have all day, but you know, but if you only have a certain amount of time, how do you want to spend it? I want to spend it seeking winning campaigns that make money, right? I don't necessarily, and I can tell you because I've done both, I don't really want to spend it uploading content to Facebook, you know, and just hoping, well, maybe tomorrow will be the day that my page starts to make some money. Maybe this will be the offer that this, you know, I'd rather engage buyers, you know, as quickly as possible. And again, think about it. If you put an offer in front of a group of people and it converts well, it will continue to convert well to the same like-minded people at a larger level, you know. And I think it's important to realize that, you know, like one of the old things, I'm going to mess this up, but think about Thomas Edison and the light bulb, right? They said, "Oh, you failed 700, you're terrible. Like it took you 700 times to figure out how to do the light bulb." And he says something, you know, like, no, you know, like I succeeded 700 times and you know, not, you know, how the hell does he say that?
I don't know. I know what you're saying. I know. Well,
You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
this
yeah.
idea. So like, and so my point, I'm kind of blowing that up, but my point is that when it comes to things like testing for small amounts, you actually want to find your losers quick.
Yeah.
You got to know you're going to have losers. Let's find them and move on. You know, like when I used to do cold calling, man, if I knew that there was a payday somewhere in that stack of leads and I would just call, I wanted to get through all the no's as quickly as possible. Like, you're not interested? Cool. Like someone will be, and I'm going to get to them as quickly as I can. And so the same thing applies in this kind of deal. It's like you want to go, let's test as many offers as possible. You know, your budget's it's gonna matter, right? You know, not people are gonna be like, I have $5,000. Let's see what happens this month. I mean, like we're not encouraging that kind of behavior, but obviously you want to get out there and you want to get aggressive. You know, you want to say, well, like let's try some things out and let's try it out quickly. Let's try it out over, you know, a short amount of time. Let's see what happens. Let's measure it. And that's what we're doing in our training. It's really cool because we take people from thinking about niches, thinking about these ideas, thinking about particular topics, and work them all the way through a process. And I mean, all the way through a process.
Sorry, Bill. You mentioned measuring it, and I think that's really important. Is a lot of times with any kind of internet marketing or a lot of these things, people just kind of go out there and they start doing it, and then they get this information back, and the information becomes useless because they haven't actually tracked conversions. They haven't actually gone and found which audiences or which ads and clicks are actually converting. Is that something you go over in the course as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think that yes. I mean, we definitely go through that. It's really important. And Facebook, by the way, has conversion pixels. Mm-hmm. Like they have the ability to embed information on pages, and that's really good, so that you know what's happening and you know like you know how a particular ad might be playing out, and that is incredibly valuable. You know, a lot of times when it comes to simple ads, you pretty much can know pretty quick whether or not something's working or not. If I spent $20 and I made no money, I can tell you what. And I did everything else right. If I targeted, if I'm showing the right thing to the right people and they're not doing it, well, I mean, you can always look at, well, is it my headline? Like what would the elements of what's happening here? But pretty much, if visually what you're showing them isn't working, it's not working. Now it's not to say, well, I can't succeed in the knitting niche, right? No, you could probably succeed in knitting, but that offer doesn't work. We got to find an offer, and until we find an offer that converts, I'm not going to build the page, right? I'm just not going to build it, because when I build it, it's going to be with, it's going to be with something where I know that I can start to make money with it. And by the way, because people might be like, well, what are these offers? I'll tell you what the offers are. So the offers, and what we've tested a lot of different things. We tested CPA offers, which, by the way, Facebook doesn't really love CPA offers because it's an automatic takeout. Like, it automatically takes them out of Facebook. They don't really love them. We've tested Amazon. Just endless amounts of stuff on Amazon. Amazon's too distracting. Right? There's too many things going on in Amazon. So Amazon, the beauty of Amazon and Amazon affiliate marketing is the cookie, right? It's just getting people over there. I encourage that for ways to monetize the page later, like actually on the page. So I wouldn't be running ads to Amazon products necessarily. Well, you can, but it's not ideal. And what we found worked the best are T-shirts and Teespring is the easiest way to separate and figure out these campaigns that'll work. And what we're able to do then is we can run these campaigns and make these offers up front. And if they buy, then we know we have a successful campaign. And we know now that we can attract legitimate buyers over into a page where we can grow it. Now we've got people in there and some traction. What's really cool is that we don't buy likes. We don't buy likes anymore. We're not running like campaigns. What we're running are money campaigns that generate thousands of likes and thousands of dollars. So we're able to get money and likes. We're able to get it all, but create profitability at the same time.
What if someone has never run an ad campaign before or a T-shirt campaign before? Is this too high level for them, or do you explain that to them?
No, I don't think so. I mean, look, if anything, some people may complain and go, "Oh, I already knew that." Well, let me tell you what, you didn't already know it. There may be some things that you might know, because anytime you do a book, I'm not going to start at the letter M and work to the end. You got to start at A. You always have to start at A. Because I've got to make sure that you and I are speaking the same language, that we understand some of the same ideas, that we understand what's going on. So no, we take it from, we assume that you don't know what you're doing. We assume that you've never created a shirt, don't know anything about Teespring, don't know how to sign in, that you've never run an ad, that you don't know anything about that stuff. We have to show that so that we get our common ground. Because at the end of the day, I'll tell you what, theoretically, you don't have to buy. You don't ever have to buy any report. You can go on Teespring and they'll tell you how to set up an account. You can go over to Facebook and they'll tell you how to run ads. So good luck with that. The reality is, it's putting it together. It's understanding why you're putting it together, and it's seeing a process that works. That's the value, I think, in any kind of a purchase of information, and that's definitely what we do. And I got to tell you, there are a few cool little tricks in there that, again, will save you money and save you a lot of time. And I tend to just believe that time definitely is money, So I think we have a limited amount of time every day. And so I'm constantly looking at my time as having a value to it. So if someone could teach me how to save an hour a day, I will pay them a lot of money, because in the long run, I'll be happier. It will simplify a lot of my life.
Let's recap on exactly what's in the front end product. Can you kind of just go through that? What people are expecting? Yeah,
the product it's a report, right? So I've done a lot of video training in the past. I never get complaints when I put a report, and that's the offer. I do get complaints when I don't put a report in and it's only videos. And then they want the PDF. Oh, where's the transcript? I'm like, yeah, that's actually that actually is a lot of time and money. I don't want to spend that. So instead, I'm like, well, let's just do the report. So we have a front end report, and it totaled out to 52 pages. So it's actually, I feel like it's pretty meaty, right, for an ebook. And the reason for that is that it's not all words. The reason for that is kind of what you were asking earlier. We definitely make sure that we're showing step by step what's going on. Look at this, and it's a little bit challenging when you're creating a report that shows activity. And so we think we do a good job of being able to walk someone through so that you don't ever get lost in any part of the process. So that's the front end of it. And if you're still on and you're still paying attention, we do have an upsell, and it's basically video training. So we take the same concepts, and this time you get to watch over the shoulder as we put together from scratch a complete campaign, so that you know exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it. And what's cool, I think, with any kind of video, if you've listened to me talk to this point, is that when you are speaking extemporaneously, all kinds of cool stuff comes out. So video training has additional value, in my opinion, just to be able to hear someone thinking aloud while they do something. Because a lot of times that's hard. That's the stuff that's hard to get back into the report. So I always recommend, I always recommend both, and they're priced very modestly for I think a really great set of strategies.
But you're right, though. One of the complaints that I've gotten, and even with my interviews, is people will email me and they'll want the transcript. Mike, can't you put out the transcript? I'm like, guys, like, I'm already doing the videos. We're already doing videos.
I know.
We're not doing written. But some people like that. Some people prefer that method of consuming, and I can understand. Like, sometimes I will take a PDF and I'll put it on my iPad and I'll bring it to bed and I'll read it before bed. Like, sometimes I don't want to watch a video, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I prefer. I mean, I'm a reader, and again, videos are terrific when I'm ready for them, right? As someone, I get a lot of people ask me for product reviews. Like, hey, will you review my thing, or we think about promoting it? Anytime they're like, hey, here's my thing, I'd love for you to promote it, and it's all video, I don't ever promote it. Huh. And the only reason is because they're making me commit to a lot. Like, I got to watch all those videos now. I don't even know who you are, man. And you want me to you're asking me to commit to an hour of your time. Whereas if you give me a PDF, I'm a fast reader, man. I'm a really fast reader, and I can skim like crazy. I can get the gist of something. I can stop when I want to. I can pull. You know what I mean? Whereas 5 modules of videos, that's terrific at some point. But I mean, it's hard. I mean, you're having to really commit to it, and I got to know exactly where it is. Like what minute to stop and pay attention to. So
the worst for me is when it's like 5 hours of videos, and I'm just like, I don't want to watch 5 hours of videos. I want to learn what you're doing in short videos where you show me exactly, and I'm hoping that's what your upsell is. I hope the videos aren't too long-winded.
Really, I think there's only like 6 of them. I think the longest one is 14 minutes. I mean, some people are going to go, well, there's not enough time. It's not enough. But I mean, that's ridiculous. Here's the reality. Me and Will were thinking about this, and because someone asked us, well, how long do you think? Like, well, it sounds great, but like, how long do you think until you could see something happen? And we literally thought it through and came up with 6 hours. So that's not a lot of time. So I'm not suggesting it's not going to take you 6 hours to read the report. It's not going to take you 6 hours to watch the videos. I'm saying that if you read the report twice, watched the videos, took action as we told you how to do it, set up an ad, and then had to wait for Facebook. Now, I can't tell you how long it's going to take Facebook to approve. It could take 10 minutes, it could take a day, so that would obviously blow the 6 hours. But anyways, my point being, from being able to never have done it before, to have something up and running, literally live, 6 hours is plenty of time. So, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a reasonable amount of time to do that. And I've had done Facebook ads, and like you said, you never know how long it's going to take for them to approve.
Well, it would take you 20 minutes. But I mean, for some people, it's like that's when we said like 6 hours. That's reading the report twice. That's really kind of thinking it through. That's doing some research. That's really processing every part of it. As if you've never done it before. 6 hours. So we love that. I mean, like Will can crank out these campaigns. He can do 5 in a day. So, I mean, obviously not each of those campaigns is taking him 6 hours. It's one of these things where the scalability is, in some ways is the easiest part, right? Scaling typically is easy because once you're scaling, that means you've gotten some stuff right, you're making some money, and you're moving it. The hardest part is getting from nothing to at least over one finish line. If you can get to one finish line, you'll never want to stop.
And that's when the I don't want to say greed, or that's when you finally realize, and it can be with anything, that the first time you start making money online or you start having success with a certain method and you have that validation that, okay, these guys aren't just spouting out BS.
Right.
This actually works. There's like, oh, I get it. Okay, I see. This is a successful campaign. I've had X amount that have been failures because it has to happen. Like with Edison, like it has to happen. You and I experience failure all the time with different things that we try, and the reason why we're able to be successful is because we've had so many failures. You need to have them in order to get there.
Absolutely. You know, and on that note, Mike, I mean, I think that you know, if people are watching this and they're like, this sounds great. Yeah, I've heard all that before. I don't ever make money. This is all, you know, this is the last one of Mike's crazy videos I'm ever going to watch. You know, I mean, listen, what's separating me from you, if that's how you feel, is the fact that I don't quit. Having a failure doesn't mean I quit. And I think that one of the problems that people have a lot of times is that they actually don't finish. They don't allow themselves to finish. They don't get to cross any finish line. They give up way too early. Now, you might say, well, I've been doing this for 5 years and never made a penny. That's not what I'm suggesting, because I could think that in those 5 years, you've probably tried 300 things. Now, did you finish all 300 of those things?
Or any of them?
Or any of them? Right. No, it'd be impossible to do so, right? Or if you did, I mean, you know, so I would encourage you that if you're interested in Facebook marketing, to really take a look at what we're doing here. But I would equally encourage you to finish it and to do it. And if you don't, please don't buy the report. Like, you know, I mean, unless you just like to, you know, read my stuff, that's, you know, very gratifying. But really make sure that you're going to finish something. And that goes for, you know, just, you got to commit to it and you got to finish it. The reason why I don't have the luxury of just quitting stuff is because I don't have a job. Right? I'm self-employed. Like, my family is depending upon me looking at Facebook and saying, I'm pulling money out of Facebook this month. You know? So
when your wife comes in and she just sees you on Facebook, she's like, honey, what are you doing? You're on Facebook again.
I know. Yeah, well, what she realizes is that I'm rarely on Facebook for pleasure. So, you know, she's always on there and she's like, why don't you like my comments? I'm like, I'm not even paying attention to what you're doing. I'm literally, I'm working, so I'm doing this other stuff. I'm looking for knitters. I'm looking for people who love knitting on Facebook. I don't care about, you know, whatever's happening with your silly memes.
Once you start getting into Facebook marketing, it's interesting how I guess marketing in general, it's interesting how your viewpoint on everything that's happening on Facebook or online. I look on Facebook and my attention is more not for the pictures of my friends' babies, but I'm looking at, okay, what ads are showing up on the right hand side, who's targeting me,
Absolutely.
What is getting my attention, what are these guys doing? Oh, Bill Guthrie's doing this. That must be making him money if he's doing it. Like, if it keeps on coming up over and over again, that must be an effective campaign. I keep on seeing it. What's he doing? And you can reverse engineer what other people are doing. But yeah, it completely changes the way you think.
It will take it'll take a lot of the fun out of life unless you find this stuff to be fun, which I absolutely do.
So do I.
You know what I mean? Now, I mean, it's on that. I can't watch TV with my kids without pointing out the way a commercial works. You know,
product placement all over the place and all that.
My 7-year-old's like, "Can you please stop lecturing me about the stuff and just let me watch SpongeBob. I'm like, no,
Stop
see
ruining
that
my
they're
reality.
trying to sell you something right there. Just be careful.
Bill, as always, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today. Is there
Yeah.
anything, I mean, we've covered so much stuff. Is there anything that you wanted to end with? Any advice? Any last words?
No, I mean, I think we said it. I mean, like I said, I mean, I just encourage, just regardless of your opinion of my product or whether you buy it or anything. If you're at the end of the video, and you've stuck with us this long, I definitely do encourage you to find something and to stick with it, right? And just to stick with it. And Facebook solves a lot of problems. It solves the problem of traffic. It solves the problem of content. Solves the problem of not having to be very good or building websites or having a lot of technology. It solves a lot of that kind of stuff. It solves for audience, but it's not without its complexities. It's not without its need for having great understanding, of being able to apply tactics, and like I said, to be a student of of what's happening in there. And if all that sounds good to you, then I think you should pick up the report. I think you'll be very pleased with it, and then go put it into action. It's not a very big investment in the report itself, and we do not ask you to put out very large cash outlays, because we understand if it's rough times, and you got to be sensitive to that kind of stuff. If you don't have $100 to test, then you should not do anything, and you should probably go work at go find another job.
I agree.
That was kind of a sad ending.
No, but it's true though. No,
but, I mean, it's practical.
But it's very practical. Like, you don't want to be, if you don't have $100 to spend testing something and to invest, then really if it's going to be taking away from your rent payment or feeding your family or whatever, then it's not a risk you should be taking, because you are risking money in doing this. You are buying information, and you're going to need to have that money to put in over time. But yeah,
I tell you, and I could say, oh, give me $100, let's go buy some traffic, and people would say, oh no, I don't want to do that, but I don't have that money. But mysteriously, they will continue to spend that $100 on more shiny objects and more gimmicks and all types of stuff. So I mean, I don't know.
with this dose of reality,
we've all been there.
Thank you, Bill. Really appreciate it.
Okay, Mike. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed the interview today with Bill. If you are interested in checking out his FB Classroom course, come back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and I'll have a review up so you can see the back end area and see exactly what you'll be getting when you buy the course. I'll also tell you what I like about it and what I don't like about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.